Yo, it's your boy, Smoke Breath of Madden video. Today's video, we're going to be rebuilding the Los Angeles Chargers after they have selected Omarion Hampton in the first round. Omarion Hampton is the second running back selected in the 2025 NFL Draft. Obviously, Ashton Jeanty was the first running back selected after a historic college career, and we did a rebuild with the Las Vegas Raiders with Ashton Jeanty. If you guys are interested in that, we have a whole playlist of Madden rebuilds, and I'll put the link down below in the description for you guys. First move, as rebuilding the Los Angeles Chargers, we're going to be signing Kendall Fuller. He's a pretty solid quarterback at 87 overall. He is only 29, which honestly I thought he was a little bit older. But yeah, not bad at all. Also, quick heads up, I do the auto-generated draft classes just because we can't predict 2 years down the road, but I'll get more into that later. First move we're going to do is we're going to be trading Jalen Reagor and a second-round pick for Kwity Paye for the Indianapolis Colts. We need someone on the defensive line, especially considering Joey Bosa and Poona Ford are no longer Los Angeles Chargers. And for wide receiver depth, we're going to get Amari Cooper. Now, we do need wide receiver depth. Ladd McConkey is a stud, but that is really all they got. All right, and after the first year, we finished 11-6, and we are going to make the playoffs. We are going to be facing the Denver Broncos in the first round of playoffs, division rivals. Broncos go 10-7, so very close battle there. Let's go check out the end of the season statistics, though. Justin Herbert's going to have 3,940 passing yards with 27 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions, a 65 completion percentage. Pretty solid year from Justin Herbert. Could have had a little bit more passing touchdowns, but I'm not really going to complain too much. And then passer rating of 102.2 was solid, and he was sacked 24 times. Los Angeles Chargers do have a really good offensive line, so we will definitely keep building around that. Omarion Hampton had 186 attempts for 681 yards, 3.7 yards per carry, and 16 rushing touchdowns with 0 fumbles. Justin Herbert had 97 attempts, 433 yards, and 6 rushing touchdowns. Najee Harris, obviously one of their bigger offseason signings. He had 406 yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. Ladd McConkey with 77 receptions, 1,222 receiving yards, 12 receiving touchdowns. Amari Cooper has 76 receptions, so only 1 reception less than Ladd McConkey, but he had 891 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. Tyler Conklin, he had 662 yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. And then tackles is going to be the middle linebacker, Henley, with 118. Then Elijah Molden is going to be second most. We still have Khalil Mack, though, and he's got 11 tackles for loss. Kwity Paye with 10 sacks on the year. Khalil Mack with 7. And then interceptions is going to be Henley with 3. Terrell Steele with 3. We've actually got a couple of people with 3 interceptions. We were only able to make the second round of playoffs, but we do beat the division rival, the Denver Broncos, as we were the second seed in the AFC. So we beat the Denver Broncos 27-23, but we weren't able to beat the Baltimore Ravens as we lose 37-21. Kind of embarrassing for our defense there, letting up 37 points. Not a good look, but I mean, Baltimore Ravens do have a very high-powered offense, as carried by Lamar Jackson, who had a passer rating of 128.6, 252 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He wasn't sacked once, and he had 0 interceptions and 75 completion percentage. Justin Herbert with a 97.5 passer rating, 136 yards, and 2 passing touchdowns. Derrick Henry with 84 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Najee Harris with 54 yards but no touchdown. Lamar Jackson, 10 attempts, 40 yards on the ground. And then receiving is going to be 7 receptions for Mark Andrews, 102 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Walsh got a touchdown off of 7 receptions of 58 yards. Ladd McConkey was able to get 6 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown. Leading tackles is going to be Henley and then Kyle Van Noy. Tackles for loss is Kyle Van Noy with 1. Actually, a bunch of people got 1. And only 1 sack in the game, and that was Kyle Van Noy as well. And this offseason, we are going to be losing Amari Cooper, Kendall Fuller, these 1-year deals that we got earlier in the rebuild. I mean, Amari Cooper is interested, so if we really wanted to, we could, but he regressed 3 overalls, and he's a little bit older, so I'm just going to try to get a younger receiver. We got Jalen Watson, though, a 78 overall cornerback, who's a 26-year-old. Then we got Tutu Atwell, who's a 25-year-old, a 77 overall. Zach Ertz, who's a little older, but hopefully he'll work in the depth. Then we got B.J. Hill at defensive tackle. And this is who we drafted. So these are the auto-generated people that I was talking about earlier. just randomized that Madden creates. But anyway, we got a left outside linebacker in the first round who's a 75 overall. That's actually pretty solid considering it was the 26th pick in the first round. Then we did get a quarterback who's a 67. That's kind of not good. And then we got a left end who's a 68. 66 overall. Then we got a 70 overall defensive tackle. We got a backup quarterback. But anyway, Daryl Lucas was the name of the left outside linebacker, so let's keep a close eye on him. And we're going to be doing a trade to get another receiver. We just need a second solid option. I think Jordan Addison is one of the better second receivers in the league. So we are going to be giving up a few amount of draft picks, but I think it's definitely worth it. I mean, we give a first round, second round, third, fourth, and seventh round draft pick, but I think it's worth it. And we're going to be trading away Mike Williams, since we did just get wide receiver depth, for Tashawn Wharton from the Carolina Panthers. He's an all right end. I mean, we could use him to help our defense out. And we make the playoffs for the second year in a row. This time we went 11-6 again. 86 overall team, 88 offense, and an 84 defense. Omarion Hampton leads the league in rushing yards. I definitely didn't see that coming. But anyway, let's go and check out the rest of the end of season stats. Justin Herbert with 4,184 yards, 40 passing touchdowns with 12 interceptions. A very great year for Justin Herbert. A 71 completion percentage. Very good for Justin Herbert. He was sacked 44 times, which I'm shocked he was sacked that many times. Passer rating was a 113.1. Very good year for Justin Herbert. Very good year for Omarion Hampton as well. 275 attempts with 1,381 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Justin Herbert with 295 rushing yards with 4 rushing touchdowns. Najee Harris with only 42 attempts, 154 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Najee is really not producing as good as he should be, if I'm being honest, but I guess Omarion Hampton is eating up all the rushing attempts. Landon McConkey with 87 receptions, 1,311 receiving yards with 12 receiving touchdowns. Jordan Addison with 975 receiving yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. Zach Ertz with 645 yards and 7 receiving touchdowns. Quinn Johnston, he's even doing solid with 503 yards, and I believe he had at least 7 receiving touchdowns. Then we get Henley leading in tackles again with 110. Cleo Mack with 16 tackles for loss. And B.J. Hill is right behind him with 13. And Daryl Lucas, the rookie, with 11 tackles for loss. Cleo Mack with 11 sacks. Daryl Lucas with 7.5 sacks. Quiddy Pay with 4.5. And Deion Henley with 2 interceptions. And there was only a few other people who got 2 interceptions. And we're going to make it all the way to the Super Bowl in our second year of this rebuild. So we faced the Houston Texans in the first round. We beat them 27-21. And then we faced the Indianapolis Colts, and we beat them 31-29. Then we faced the Baltimore Ravens. We beat them 38-35. Now we are facing the San Francisco 49ers in the 2025 NFL Super Bowl. And obviously, they're still going to have their main core. This is only 1 year down the road, so you got to think they'll still probably have Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, all their big players, Fred Warner. So let's go ahead and compete in the Super Bowl. To be honest, I'm shocked the Chargers even made it. I mean, this early. Like, they're not a bad team, don't get me wrong, but Super Bowl good, I don't know. But there it is, Justin Herbert going against Brock Purdy. Let's go ahead and see who wins. And the San Francisco 49ers regular season record was 14-3. And we go into the game for presentation purposes only. We do not play because this is a rebuild and not a gameplay franchise. And the score is 10-7 right now. San Francisco 49ers. Now it's 17-14. We're just a field goal away from tying it. And we are not able to get any more points on the board. And we lose in the Super Bowl 17-14. There's Justin Herbert. Not quite able to get it done as Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers are your 2025 Super Bowl champions. Let's go and check out the statistics, though. So Brock Purdy's going to have a passer rating of 143.1. Pretty impressive Super Bowl. 94 completion percentage, 2 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Justin Herbert was very efficient as well, as he had 141.2 passer rating and 2 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Christian McCaffrey with 10 attempts, 39 yards. Omarion Hampton didn't do much. Zach Ertz had 5 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Ayuk had 5 receptions, 83 yards and a touchdown. Ricky Pearsall, 3 receptions, 27 yards and a touchdown. Deontay Jackson had 7 tackles for us. And then tackles for loss is going to be Alfred Collins. With 2 sacks, there's going to be a couple sacks, actually. Quiddy Pay was in there. Looked like this Nick Bosa as well got a sack. There were no interceptions. So, weren't able to get a Super Bowl, but we are definitely going to try to be back in the Super Bowl sometime soon. So, we got left outside linebacker Jalen Phillips in free agency. We also got Rashad White. I have a feeling we're probably going to trade Najee Harris soon. He's just not been performing as good as he really should have been. So we're going to trade Najee Harris actually right here. So we're getting rid of Quentin Johnston, the guy who does have a dropping problem, but he played okay last year. I'm not going to hate on him too much. Najee Harris, he's just been very underperforming for the Chargers so far. And it's 2 second-round picks and a 4th-round pick for Tyree Woolen. I love Tyree Woolen. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think hands down. I think he's also one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. So that is going to help our defense tremendously. So now we are 10-7, and we make the playoffs again at 87 overall team, and we're going to be facing the Cincinnati Bengals in the first round of playoffs. Before we get too worried about playoffs, though, let's go and check out the end of the season stats this year. Justin Herbert with 4,054 passing yards, 31 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and 68% completion. Omarion Hampton with 138 rushing attempts with 640 yards. Could have had a lot more yards considering he just led the league not too long ago. But he did average 4.7 yards per carry and 9 rushing touchdowns on the season, so not too bad. Justin Herbert with 422 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Ladd McConkey with 91 receptions, 1,363 receiving yards, and 14 receiving touchdowns. Will Dissly with 794 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. Jordan Addison with 61 receptions, 778 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. Tutu Atwell with 3 receiving touchdowns as well. And let's go and check the defensive side of the ball. So Deion Hanley is still going to have, or leading us in tackles with 84. Jalen Phillips not too far behind with 78 tackles. Tershawn Wharton with 16 tackles for loss. Quiddy Pay with 14. Jalen Phillips is going to lead the team in sacks with 12.5. Darrell Lucas is going to have 10.5. Quiddy Pay 7.5. BJ Hill had 4. Tyreek Woolen is going to lead the team with 5 interceptions. And Henley's going to have 4 interceptions. And after making a Super Bowl appearance, the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be first-round exits after losing 36-35 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Weren't able to get it done against Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Let's go and check out the stats of this matchup. So Joe Burrow absolutely dotted up our defense with a passer rating of 130 on the dot, 350 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, and 1 interception. And Justin Herbert, he could have performed a lot better, but he did have 301 passing yards, which isn't bad, but 2 passing touchdowns with 2 interceptions. Omarion Hampton's going to have 14 attempts with 64 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Looks like not much else happened in the running game. Mike Gesicki is going to be the leading reception leader for the Bengals with 92 yards and 1 touchdown. Ladd McConkey had 4 receptions, 87 yards, and Jamar Chase had 4 receptions, 86 yards with the touchdown. Leading tackles is going to be Henley, and then sacks is going to be Will Reese, our generated guy, and then interceptions is going to be Jermaine Pratt and Jordan Battle. So Marlon Humphrey, we're going to sign him in free agency. Then we're also going to sign Darnell Washington, a tight end. Then we're going to get a backup tight end in Mac Jones. But obviously the best part of this is getting Marlon Humphrey, an 87 overall cornerback. I mean, we did get Tyreek Woolen not too long ago, but still, we need more than 2 solid cornerbacks. I mean, there was really no one else on the Chargers roster that was really good at quarterback, if I'm being honest. But we do make playoffs again in this time around. Let's go check the stats from the regular season, but we will be facing the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round. So Justin Herbert had 4,092 passing yards. Pretty solid. Actually, really solid considering he had 38 passing touchdowns and only 8 interceptions, a 71 completion percentage, and he had passer rating of 112.8. He was only sacked 26 times. Pretty phenomenal year from the franchise quarterback. That is Justin Herbert, and hopefully trying to get the Chargers over this hump. Omarion Hampton, the guy we're basing this rebuild around, 228 attempts, 1,198 rushing yards, 16 rushing touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Really good year for Omarion Hampton. Justin Herbert with 91 attempts, 388 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Rashad White with 68 attempts, 353 rushing yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns. Really good year running the ball. Just really efficient offense, seems like, this year. 87 receptions for Ladd McConkey, 1,226 receiving yards with 12 receiving touchdowns. And Will Dissly is going to be the second most receptions leader for us for the second year in a row. 79 receptions, 792 yards, and 7 receiving touchdowns. Jordan Addison with 68 receptions, 790 yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns. And Tutu Atwell's going to have 45 receptions, 535 yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns. Omarion Hampton's going to have 20 receptions with 203 yards. John Henley, again, is leading us in tackles with 121. Darrell Lucas is going to have 74, and Tyreek Woolen's going to have 69. And the tackles for loss is going to be Darrell Lucas and John Henley tied. And then Darrell Lucas is going to be the sack leader for the Los Angeles Chargers. Then Deshaun Wharton. Then it's going to be Jalen Phillips with 6 and Kwity Paye with only 2, shockingly enough. And then Tyreek Woolen's going to have 4 interceptions, same with Terron Steele. And Deion Henley is going to have 3. And then that's about all we had. And we get eliminated in the first round of playoffs again, this time by the Kansas City Chiefs. We were the 7th seed, so that makes the Kansas City Chiefs obviously the 2nd seed. But we do lose 21-24 to the division rivals. Weren't able to get it done to Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure he's still on the Chiefs roster. And yes, he is. So let's go check out the stats. A 131 passer rating for Patrick Mahomes, 347 passing yards, along with 3 passing touchdowns and no interceptions. Justin Herbert had a pretty good game as well, with a passer rating of 125.6, 270 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns with no interceptions. Omarion Hampton actually did a solid 16 attempts, 72 yards, averaged 4.5 yards per carry, but no touchdown. And it looks like Jordan Addison ran the ball a little bit. And 9 receptions for Ladd McConkey with 135 yards. Really good game. And he had a touchdown. Travis Kelce had 9 receptions for 83 yards, though, and 1 touchdown. And it looks like Rashid Rice had 2 receiving touchdowns. Leo Chanley is going to be the leading in tackles with 11. And Darrell Lucas is going to have 1 tackle for loss. George Kalafdis is going to have 2 sacks. Deshaun Warren's going to have a sack. There were no interceptions in this game. And in free agency, we didn't lose anyone big, so we didn't show that. But we are spending big-time money in this free agency. So we're going to get Jalen Carter, a 93 overall defensive tackle. We're taking him from the Eagles. And we're also going to take Cooper DeJean, another former Eagle, a 91 overall, 25 years old, a 91 overall quarterback. And we're going to take Jake Campbell as well. We're also going to trade Junior Causson to get Mike Hall Jr., another solid defensive tackle. I know we don't really need defensive tackle that much, but it's a solid backup. And plus, we are going to be running a 4-3 defense, so we're going to need 2 solid defensive tackles. And I know I've been saying many times we need solid wide receiver depth, and we have gotten it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Ladd McConkey with Jordan Addison's a nice pair, but we need a 3 option that is above like a 78 overall. So we got Xavier Legette from the Carolina Panthers, and it seemed to be working out just fine because we went 15-2. So the best record we've gotten so far from the Los Angeles Chargers. We have a 93 overall team, 95 offense, and a 92 defense. Omarion Hampton is leading the league in rushing yards yet again. Justin Herbert with 4,000 passing yards, 27 passing touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, a 70% completion. Very good year for Justin Herbert. I mean, he didn't get 30 passing touchdowns, but he was very efficient. Only 6 interceptions, a 70% completion. He was sacked 35 times, but maybe the O-line is starting to bend and break a little bit. But, I mean, we still have a solid O-line. Omarion Hampton, I mean, the O-line must be doing good in the run game because Omarion Hampton's been lighting it up with 246 rushing attempts, 1,563 rushing yards, 22 rushing touchdowns, which is phenomenal, with 0 fumbles. Justin Herbert with 382 rushing yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. Leading in receptions is going to be Ladd McConkey with 89 receptions, 1,322 receiving yards, 12 receiving touchdowns. Darnell Washington's going to have 63 receptions with 734 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns. Xavier Legette's going to have 682 receiving yards with 4 receiving touchdowns. Deion Henley is going to lead us again in tackles. Deion Henley and Ladd McConkey, I think, every year have led us in tackles and receptions. Darrell Lucas is going to be up there as well, and same with Mike Hall Jr. with tackles for loss. And then the sacks is going to be Jalen Phillips with 13. Daryl Lucas is going to have 12.5. Jalen Carter, the newly acquired defensive tackle, is going to have 7.5. Interception is going to be on Deion Henley with 3. Daryl Lucas with 2. Cooper DeJean had 2. Jack Campbell had 2. Terod Steele had 2. Very good. A lot better defense. And we were the first seed in the AFC, obviously. But we are going to be making the Super Bowl. We're going to be facing the Minnesota Vikings. So we beat the Kansas City Chiefs 34-26, and then we beat the Houston Texans 31-28. We're going to be facing the Minnesota Vikings, the 6th seed, versus the number 1 seed. As you see, we have 3 superstar X Factors and a 93 overall. The Minnesota Vikings, a little bit of underdogs in this one, as they have no superstar X Factors, and they are an 86 overall. We had Len McConkey as an X Factor, and he is probably the longest tenured Charger on the active roster right now, besides Herbert, I would say. Justin Herbert obviously looking to try to get it done. Same with Ladd McConkey. At this point in history, they're definitely going down as Chargers greats, but we could see if they go down as NFL greats if they win the Super Bowl. Let's go ahead and super sim this. We're going in for the presentation purposes. Vikings score a safety, so we must have got sacked or got tackled for loss to our own end zone, obviously. But we are now up 14-9, now 21-9. And then 21-16, and the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be your Super Bowl champions. They finally get it done. Justin Herbert, Joe Alt, Ladd McConkey, Derwin James, everybody. They are now Super Bowl champions. Tyreek Woolen, Omarion Hampton. This team has been absolutely stacked. And I'm kind of shocked it took us this long, because it did kind of take us a little bit. But yeah, there it is. Justin Herbert is a Super Bowl champion. No more hypotheticals, no more what-if scenarios. Justin Herbert finally gets it done. So Justin Herbert in the big game, a passer rating of 150.9, 150 yards, 85 completion percentage, 2 passing touchdowns. J.J. McCarthy did pretty solid as well, but wasn't able to get it done, obviously, with 125 passing yards and 65 completion percentage. Omarion Hampton with 13 attempts, 61 yards. 0 touchdowns. J.J. McCarthy with 8 attempts, 39 yards. Justin Herbert with 7 attempts, 25 yards rushing. Darnell Washington was the leading receiver with 5 receptions. So 5 receptions, 58 yards for Darnell Washington, and a touchdown. We got a couple auto-generated people for the Vikings, but Justin Jefferson, there he is. Only 2 receptions, 36 yards. And only 2 receptions, 36 yards for Ladd McConkey, but at least Ladd McConkey got a touchdown. Deion Henley's going to lead in tackles. Evan Pace Jr. is up there for tackles. Leon Jenkins, Marshawn Lattimore got a tackle for loss. Sacks, there was only 1 in the game, and that was from Jalen Carter, and there were no interceptions in the game. So the Los Angeles Chargers take down the Minnesota Vikings in the year 2028. The Super Bowl MVP was Justin Herbert, and this final score was 21-16. The NFL MVP of the year was Patrick Mahomes. Offensive Player of the Year was Lamar Jackson. The Defensive Player of the Year was Will Anderson Jr. Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year, obviously auto-generated people. That is around the end of the video. Make sure you guys go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you guys enjoy Madden 25 content. If you guys are interested in who won in the previous years, in the 2027 season, it was the Atlanta Falcons. And in the 2026 year, it was the Buffalo Bills getting their first ever Super Bowl in franchise history against the Philadelphia Eagles. 2025, that was the year we obviously lost to the San Francisco 49ers, 17-14. Super Bowl MVP that year was Brock Purdy. And the year 2024, they had the Baltimore Ravens beating the Detroit Lions 38-28. Like I said, if you guys enjoy Madden 25 rebuilds, if you guys enjoy NFL content in general, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more content, and make sure to turn those post notifications on so you get notified every single time we post. See you in the next video. Bye.